We've got a specialist on the phone. Actually, we've got someone who's a bit more of an expert than maybe I am, and my fellow guest. I don't know if he's more of an expert than yourselves, but I'm sure he can shed a bit of insight into some of the dreams we might have, and also some of the listeners as well this evening. His name is Ian Wallace. He's got a recent book as well that he's written, which is called The Top 100 Dreams. I'm going to go straight to Ian now. Let's see if we can get some specialist input. Ian, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I am, Vin. How are you?
Very well, thanks. Thanks for joining us this evening. It's a real thank you from all of us here, because I know we'd like to get an understanding of what dreams mean, and I think you're the best person to ask, I think.
Thank you very much. So, what would you like to know, Vin?
Okay, let me ask you the first question now. We've been talking about the various aspects of dream, but let me talk about your specialism, which is the dreams we have when we sleep. Now, you're a dream psychologist. You've kind of written many books. You're also widely acclaimed for your live dream analysis. Let me ask you the first question. Why do you think we dream in the first place?
Well, it's really interesting that we're talking about dreams as a sleep phenomenon, Vin, because dream also, and I'm sure you've been talking about this, our hopes and aspirations in waking life, and they seem to be really disconnected, but actually they come from the same source. So the dreams we have at night and our hopes and aspirations in waking life actually come from this part of ourself called our unconscious awareness. This is deeper self-awareness that we all have, but we tend to filter out during the day, so it only comes out when we dream at night. So the reason why we dream, what dreams are, is they're stories that our unconscious awareness creates to tell us who we really are, what we really need in life, and how we can achieve that.
Okay, so there's many opinions that I've heard from not just this show, but we've kind of spoken about this in small detail previously. Now, many people are of the opinion that dreams don't actually have any meaning whatsoever. Scientists also say that there's no specific interpretation of what a dream is or what it means. Now, like you mentioned, in ancient history culture, many cultures actually use dreams to predict future events, to guide them, to kind of show, to teach them lessons. Is this actually possible today as well?
Yeah, absolutely, Vin. Now, one of the things with when scientists get involved, they try and look at it very objectively, and dreams are quite subjective and experiential. So I've been analysing dreams for over 30 years now, and in that time I've analysed over 120,000 dreams.
Wow.
And I keep seeing the same patterns and stories and themes coming out again and again. And I always think when a scientist tries to analyse your dreams, it's kind of like if a TV engineer comes round your TV, he'll be poking in the back of it, and he can maybe tell you if it's switched on or not, channel you're watching even, but he won't be able to tell you anything about the story that you're watching or the meaning of it to you. And that's where a dream psychologist comes in. We actually look at the stories that people create in their dreams and in their waking life and find out what they really mean to them and how they can really express those fully.
Have you ever had to argue your perspective to anyone who is cynical about meaningful dreams or anything related to dream psychology even?
Yeah, it happens very often. I do a lot of corporate work. I do a lot of work with businesses, and very often I'll find myself in a conversation verging towards an argument with a hard-nosed businessman. Now, we were talking about the unconscious awareness speaking, and the very interesting thing is that your unconscious awareness just leaks out all the time. So you'll be making unconscious gestures, you'll be slipping up with your words. This will be coming out all the time, so that can be reflected back to someone who's really sceptical and saying, this is your unconscious awareness at work, and what you really want in your life or need in your life.
Okay.
And people usually go, that's absolutely right. How on earth did you know that? And that just really comes from dream symbols and dream patterns.
Well, we were talking just before you came on the air. We've got three ladies here as well. I'm going to introduce you to Maya, Suk, and also Susie, who's in the studio today. Now, Susie was telling us earlier, her son had a recent dream, which was quite a nice dream, actually. Susie, do you want to tell Ian about your dream that you had recently?
Yes, hello, Ian.
Hi, Susie.
Hi. Yes, I was just saying on live on air earlier, my father-in-law, my son's granddad, passed away exactly a year ago yesterday. Was the first anniversary of his passing, and my son was going to have his GCSEs last year, and I can't remember when, but I think it was about a month before he was due to sit his final exams. He said to me that his granddad came to see him and said, "Don't worry, you're going to do just fine in your GCSEs. Could you possibly interpret that dream for me?"
Yes, Susie. So what happens when we dream, when we create these stories for ourselves? all the characters that we create in the are actually parts of our own self, and we use other people to represent parts of ourselves. So we tend to one identity that's represented by our name badge or our passport or whatever, but actually within every living person, family of identities that's drawn from everyone you know, even people you don't know, to unfamiliar parts of your character. So your son's granddad, your father-in-law, what he actually represented to your son was someone who was very wise and knowledgeable. So that part of your son is coming into own awareness, and your son's actually starting to realise that he has knowledge and he has wisdom. So he uses his granddad as a character to actually express that to him. So the meaning of the dream is that your son's becoming very confident in knowledge, he's becoming wise, he's maturing, he's growing up, and that's what his granddad and your father symbolise for
That's
him.
quite interesting.
Thank you very much,
I didn't think
yeah.
of it in that way, and that's interesting that you've perceived it and you've kind of interpreted it as that. But do you know what? Also, there's a lot of common dreams that many people have. I've got a list of common dreams that many people speak about. One is being chased by someone. One is being naked in public. Has anyone had that dream here?
No, not yet.
What would you say in terms of a brief interpretation of some of the common ones that you've come across in your work, Ian?
Okay, there's a top 10 here, Vin. So the number one dream since ancient time for the past 50,000 years is being chased. So in waking life, there's an issue that you want to confront, but you lack the confidence to do so. So the best thing to do in this dream is to actually turn around and ask who's chasing you what they want, and they'll tell you how to resolve the issue. Now, we're talking a little bit about dream language, talking about hard businessmen and so on. Something in life that we're really purposeful and really passionate about, we call it a pursuit. It's something that we're chasing, and usually when we're having this chase dream, it's because of something we're very passionate about, but there's a tension or something we need to confront in it.
Okay.
So being chased. The second one is can't find a toilet.
Trying to find a toilet.
Can't find a toilet. So people dream they can't find a toilet, or they do find a toilet and it's got no walls, or they can't lock the door.
Is that for a number one or a number two?
Well, it's a number two numerically, Vin.
Okay. Excellent. Well, how about being naked in public? I've heard that one many times.
Yeah, naked is the fourth most common dream. So what our clothes symbolise are the image we present to the world, and they cover up our vulnerabilities. So if you dream you're naked in public, although you appear confident and in control to others, you're feeling vulnerable and exposed. And it often happens when you start a new job or a relationship, and you just feel a bit too exposed that you don't have a comfort zone around you. So that's what naked in public means.
Okay, excellent. And I think something we mentioned here, I don't know who mentioned this in our studio, falling. Did someone have a dream about falling down or something? That's a reoccurring dream that many people have had. How would you very briefly interpret the falling down one?
Okay. So falling is the seventh most common dream. This phrase, falling asleep. And it's when you actually relax and you feel yourself sinking down to the mattress, you fall asleep, and it's all the tension leaving your body. So you usually have this in waking life when you're hanging on too hard to something, and you just need to relax and let go and allow everything to fall into place.
Excellent. Well, do you know what? It's very interesting. I think this hopefully will inspire people to actually look into maybe an alternative perspective on what your dreams actually mean. Because some people dream, they forget about it, they don't think about it. But some people, there's a growing amount of people who are out there who are quite interested in trying to interpret their own dreams and trying to look into the deeper meanings maybe behind this. Now, I've got to let the listeners know as well, Ian Wallace has a book out at the moment, which is The Top 100 Dreams. Now,
it's not out yet, Vin.
Okay.
It's coming out in June the 6th. It's published by Hay House.
What I can say, if anyone wants to find out details about Ian, maybe even make contact with Ian at any point, ianwallacedreams.com is the online website address, www.ianwallacedreams.com. So June the 6th, I think you said the book is out, so everyone look out for the book. It sounds very interesting. Now, Ian, let me ask you another thing. What are your own dreams?
My own dreams they tend to be the same as everyone else's, Vin. So I have anxiety dreams. I dream that I'm naked in public, or I'm late for the exam, or I've lost my car, and all those sorts of things. But I have this really strange thing that happens to me just because I work with dreams. So I dream that I'm analysing someone's dream, and then when I'm analysing the dream, I find myself in their dream, And then it starts to get very confusing. 'Cause I think,
Wow.
whose dream is this? Because I'm about 3 or 4 layers down. It's like being in the movie Inception.
Do you know what I was just going to say? That reminds me of the film Inception. I take it you've seen the film because it's obviously of great interest to you.
Yes, it's an absolutely fantastic film. It's a very, very good.
Have you guys seen the film in the studio?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Okay, we've got some
Amazing.
Inception fans here. It is a very
Absolutely amazing film.
I've got to say, I was boggled. I walked out of that cinema. I couldn't even think straight after walking out of that film. It was just mind-blowingly kind of strange. But it does give us a different interpretation. It makes you think about things, which is great. But I want to ask you another personal one. I had a dream once about a public figure. Now, this is something that I read on your website, Ian, that many clients have recently reported having dreams about Julian Assange from WikiLeaks. Now, what does it mean?
Yes.
What does it mean when we dream about public figures?
So we said earlier on, the dream about Susie's son, about we create all these characters in our dreams. So when we dream about public figures, we're dreaming about qualities that they have. So it's very, very common for people to dream about celebrities. And a lot of so-called dream analysts and dream interpreters just say, oh, it's just wish fulfillment, you want to be a celebrity. But what you're actually dreaming about are your own talents and unique skills. And you use the celebrity to represent what those are for you.
Okay.
So one of the most common celebrities that people dream about is Simon Cowell.
Okay.
And the reason they dream about him is because he is the ultimate judge of talent, as we know on the X Factor and Britain's Got Talent. So when people are judging their own talent and wanting to know that they're doing okay and be appreciated for unique abilities they have, they tend to dream about Simon Cowell.
I think Barack Obama is another common one. I think, does that mean someone's very power hungry? They want to rule the world?
No, what it means, Vin, is kind of the reverse of that.
Okay.
Obama is a leader. So a leader is someone who can make decisions and act on them. So if someone dreams about Barack Obama, there's a decision that they have to make in their waking life, and they know they have the power to make that decision and also the power to act on it for a successful outcome.
Wow, very, very interesting. If anyone has been inspired and kind of wants to know more, again, like I said, the website address, ianwallicedreams.com. Do check out all the other online resources. Ian, I've got to say thank you for your time as well this evening. It's been very interesting, and I hope you've inspired some of our listeners to kind of look into this a bit more.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Vin, and thank you, Mia, Sook and Susie as well. It's been delightful.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Ian.
much,
Thank
Ian.
you.
Thanks a
Great
lot.
stuff. Thanks for that, and we'll hopefully speak at some point in the future. But that was Ian Wallace on the phone to us, talking about his interpretation and from his specialist. What do you think, guys? Tell us what you think.
It's interesting, to
Very
be honest.
interesting.
Absolutely interesting. But a lot of what he said, I definitely do feel it's very true. Because, you know, a lot of our dreams is definitely something that we think, because I love reading about this. I've got dream dictionary books at home, about 2-3 of them.
Okay.
And,
I have too,
you know,
yeah.
it's really interesting because it's true. What we dream about is it tends to be what's on our mind, what we're thinking about, especially when we go to sleep. So if we actually sleep with a lot of stress and we're thinking about too many things at the same time, you'll notice you'll have a few dreams.
And we're all kind of nodding our heads in the studio as well. I think we all kind of share that.